an exhausting game to watch.
Only for you and people around you.
It's still a very high caliber game and a very entertaining game. Not always, but most of the time it's entertaining. You can watch another team and still be entertained.
All right, now let's move on from that topic because we'll be here all night and talking about the same topic. Now, the bounce, okay? Before the game's even started and throughout the game, the bounce. Now, apparently you were saying that, Charmaine, that the players have actually voted that they would rather have a throw-up than a bounce, but the umpires are saying, no, we want to bounce it, so we'll continue to bounce it. Forget what all the players have voted for. They want to do the bounce.
I think you've got to do whatever's best and quicker for the game, because that is one thing
that's a throw-up.
Is silly. So why is a throw-up quicker than a bounce? Is because a bounce has to be redone?
Yeah, because a bounce goes,
the accuracy of the bounce.
And like, look at Friday night, Port, where they beat the Bulldogs.
38 minutes that first quarter.
Yeah, that was just
a number of restarts.
Which is, goes to another topic that we've got. These umpires seem to be making the game about themselves nowadays and not about the players, and no one goes except for the special, the one Make-A-Wish Foundation kid who likes an umpire and goes to see the umpires. Everyone else is going to see the players play football. We don't give a shit about the umpires, but they obviously want some of the limelight, and they are just slowing down this game, destroying this game. And I think, and I don't see why they can't do it now, because every game is covered by X amount of cameras. They should have a live TV umpire, because I was watching it on Friday night. Okay, now umpires mainly go down the corridor. When the ball quickly goes to one of the wings, they've got the players have got their back to the umpires, and they can't see what's going on. And like, we were on the wing watching what's going on, and we can see it clear as day. And we're up in the grandstand, in the centre, and we can see it. We're bloody 50 metres away, 100 metres away.
I don't know how they can have that many people officiating a game
and not get it right.
Because there should be, and there was another game on the weekend where a terrible tackle was laid and the umpire said play on play. He's right there, and the umpire 40 metres away actually stopped and paid the freebie, and it was a careless tackle and reported, etc., etc. But how does the umpire who's 2 metres away not acknowledge that?
Yeah, and he got reported for that.
That's poor form in that, and that wasn't our game, so it's not a biased opinion either. But I don't know. I rugby, soccer, all those gridiron, one or two refs or umpires or whatever, and I know it's not as fast, and I know it's not as, but still, I think there needs to be more accountability.
Now, what did you say the umpires are on financially?
Oh, I think, and this is just hearsay from what I've heard through watching the shows, but about 150.
That's a lot of money.
If that's right, that's just for the AFL. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of money to be making as many mistakes as they do. Yes, they're under pressure,
and they want double that.
But
a rumor has it they want 300.
They have the ability to manipulate how the game goes.
Yep.
And that's what I have a problem with, because is that being directed from the media? Is that being directed from the bosses? Or is that being why is that an option? And I don't...
Because it's normally after a quarter or a half they come out and the umpires have almost like had a colonic irrigation and come out and changed their whole view of how they're going to umpire the game, and it's different, and
leaders and coaches come out as well during those breaks, and they tell them, this is what went wrong, this is what you did well, this is what you didn't do. So they do have to change their game plan accordingly, but I don't know. And we were only viewing our opinions from a spectator point of view, certainly not a trained professional, but
Now, you don't. Do you watch the game much, Justin?
No.
No.
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to a lot.
And
then
what turned you off?
What turned me off was, the starting point that turned me off was when all of a sudden, the hip and shoulder became obsolete, so to speak. That really made me angry when we were kids and teenagers. The big thing was you'd be able to hip and shoulder somebody. Now all they've got to do is duck their head. The receiver of the hip and shoulder just got to duck their head.
And they train for that.
50
They
damn metre penalties.
No, you don't watch it. We watch quite a few games over the weekend, okay? Because Charmaine, it is her release, and if you live in a 1K radius of us, you will know that as well. So she's gotten right into it, and she's the neighbourhood guru of all things football. She'll even tell you what colour underwear they're wearing. So she knows a lot, and we watch a lot. Now, you watch these Melbourne teams. They're throwing their hands up in the air, playing for the free kick all the time instead of playing the bloody game. That there's a few in Geelong and the Bulldogs and Richmond, professional duckers, and I just call them bloody cheats. It's not in the best interest of the game. And
if I wanted to see that stuff, I'd watch soccer.
Yeah.
And you hear the commentators, and I love so they use the expression they're playing for the free.
Yeah.
Right. So that playing for the free is code for cheating or manipulating the system, I think.
Yep.
And if you are going to training and learning to duck so that you can play for the free, I think it's terrible because you're using a skill that you may have more than someone else to yeah.
It's un-Australian.
I would love to be sitting in the crowd with a bag full of soccer balls, and every time that happens, just lob one out on the field. I mean, come on.
Do you know what I think we all need to do is when an umpire at a Port game or even a Crows game... No. Yeah. When an umpire gets it wrong, we all stand there waving our arms in the air with contempt and see what he does.
Play on.
Yeah.
They walk off crying.
Or they'll give them a
little hanky
150 metre free.
He or she.
Now, talking about money, do you think they get too much?
Oh, I would love to say the word that I was thinking.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let me just tell you, okay, so the highest paid AFL player at the moment is, who do you reckon?
Lance Franklin.
Yeah, $1.5 million. Now, this probably is with endorsements and stuff as well.
Yes, so he's $1 million a year per contract.
Yeah.
$500,000 worth of sponsorship deals.
Second?
Jeremy McGovern.
Yeah, because you're looking at my screen now.
But I knew that.
So he's on 1.25 million. That's just obscene. Number 3, Dusty Martin on 1.25 million.
So you're right. So this is a big thing because endorsements and sponsorships play a big part of this, because Dusty, to me, I would put number 1.
Well, look at the soccer player. There was a soccer player who went across to one of the English teams, I think, and it cost an exorbitant amount of money. But that extra money they paid for this player, they knew they were going to get back alone in just Guernsey,
Ticket sales.
No, not ticket sales. Because soccer, all the kids over there, and they buy, and the men, they buy their favourite player's jumper with their name on it. And just that alone would have covered the cost to get this player to their team. So, yeah. So Nat 5 at number 4 at $1.1 million.
Has he played all year?
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. What's the cheapest amount?
Brody, well, I'm just giving you the top 10. Brody Grundy here, Collingwood, $975.
Mr. Ruckman, Paddy Dangerfield.
Paddy, sell out. 900 to 950. Patrick Cripps.
No, he deserves everything he gets.
900 to 950.
Nope.
Then we've got Stephen Canelio, 900 to 950. And then we've got Marcus Bontempelli, 900 to 950. Jeremy Cameron, 850 to 900. And then at number 10, Jeremy Cameron, 800.
Now,
But is that a lot? Is that a lot of money when you compare that to NBA players?
no.
You can't compare it to the NBA.
So LeBron James, number one earner in the NBA, 111.2 million.
But it's population based. It's got to be pro rata. So it's got to be. They're getting much bigger sponsorship deals based because they're a big population.
Of course they are.
It would be interesting to actually do it as a per capita thing and actually see how it works out.
But even over the last 10 years, AFL has gone up and gone, the price that players are getting, and it's not in line with inflation. There's no bloody way it would be.
You're
but
not getting that off the bat as well. Those players are coming into the club on I think one of the new players, I think 50 grand.
So how much do you reckon AFL earned? So as of February this year, this is the key financial summary report as of February the 14th this year. How much do you reckon the AFL earned as a business?
60 million.
$738 million. Now, that is up. That is up 63.3 million due to increased broadcast revenue and improved commercial returns.
It's all about the broadcast, isn't it?
So now, just that's a lot of money to make, but 300 million it gets sent back to the, so nearly half gets sent back to the AFL clubs, and that's distributed. It's not distributed evenly; it's distributed. There's a way they work it out. 29.5 million for admin costs. So that's like all the Ubers that the executives take home after a day of work.
Just on that, is that divvied up to the clubs based on their performance on that year? A bit like like F1 and things like that.
I did hear about it going back a few years ago because there was a big outcry that some of the teams that were running at a loss a few years ago were getting more money. And it was unfair for the teams that were doing all right because they didn't get the money. So, but like the AFL put like 53 million back into game development. Obviously, that's not in finding good umpires.
Well, kids don't want to learn to be an umpire. There was a thing on one of the footy shows I watched. Kids don't, how kids do Oz Kick and all that. They don't want to be involved in the umpire program because they're scared. Because they get abused. Yeah. Because we abuse the umpires, which we shouldn't do.
And especially when you see, all these news reports of people getting bashed and, for umpiring and just, they didn't like decisions, so they're going to beat the crap out of the umpire.
I think the umpiring side of things is another story altogether. But the thing is, when you're a kid, you're playing football because you like to kick that red football. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You do it for love.
Yep.
And as soon as shitloads and shitloads of money becomes involved in a game, I think it loses a lot of its ground roots, ability to draw people into it. No, that's not. I just think I personally believe there should be a flat level of payment. For each and every person across the whole AFL board.
Or at least a tier, a few tiers. 1, 2 and 3.
So somebody like Dusty, okay, being an absolutely fantastic football player, gets 3, 4, 5 times more than what anybody else does just because of that reason. That he's a better football player. I mean, if every club was offering the same amount of money to everybody, you'd be playing for the club that you had the heart for, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd be wanting to.
Yeah. And I've often wondered, because you see players leave your team and then they go to another team, and then they all of a sudden shine. Would Dusty Martin be a better player, or the same player, or worse player if he was moved to the Crows, for instance?
It's a good question.
No.
It's a good question.
Because
I think he would be.
He gets the opportunity every year. He gets offered more by other clubs.
Yeah, but that's not the question I'm asking. I'm
But
asking,
he doesn't
would he
want to-
be the same player if he went to the Crows? And I don't think he would
And
be.
you know that I've got a lot of respect for him for that.
Oh, so do I. And I believe I respect